Football stadium, in fact, just outside of the stadium, there is the Cronulla Sharks and or their mascot, well represented here today, both in the President's Cup and in the reserve grade grand final. And by the way, I want to remind you once again that we will be showing the main game commercial free. But holding down the fort back home, a man who has called a few rugby league games in his lifetime, the Bear, with his update.
Go on, you can.
Who are not even involved in rugby league. It is a special day of the year, and doesn't the ground look absolutely in superb shape? Already a few 3,000 people have filed through the gates and getting ready for what will be a fabulous day's entertainment. We'll be back at the football stadium right after this.
We'll meet you at the park. Stay out of our way, 'cause we're the mighty Sharks.
The Cronulla cheer squad there, back at the football stadium, and a big cheerio to all our farmers. We hope today's show gives you some sort of relief from the burden that you're all enduring, and we are thinking of you. And particularly the big blocker Roach and Andrew Voss. When you think about it, so many young fellows running around here today all come from, a lot of them just come from the bush. So, you know, we do think about the farmers on this big day. So, Blocker, what about this President's Cup? How do you see it going?
Well, obviously, Cronulla finished 10 points ahead of anyone else in the competition. Some outstanding players. Just a couple to watch today. Young David Peachy at the back, outstanding fullback, great runner of the ball. And big Adam Ritson up front in the front row, very strong player. I think he'll hold the key. Andrew, your thoughts?
Well, big assignment for Eastern Suburbs. They're playing a side like Cronulla, who's only lost the one game this year. It's a record that Cronulla have that is not bettered by any club in any grade this year. Eastern Suburbs have made it through the hard road. They've had 3 weeks of sudden death. They've come through it. They're here on grand final day. Two players in particular right up front. Adam Starr, the 34, the tallest player you'll see on the field, has plenty of talent. And their hooker, Robert Mears, outstanding talent, running from dummy half. I don't think you've seen another hooker like it this year in any grade. He's an exceptional player, played first grade. Gus Gould blooded him in first grade the last match of the year. He is definitely a player to look out for. You can see them warming up. It'd be a big occasion for them. But the fact that they've made it here, they have to be a chance.
OK, Blocker, what about the strength of Cronulla this year? They seem to be able to come up with so many good young players, and boy, oh boy, I hope they keep them for the years to come, because that is going to make John Lang's job so much easier. Yeah, well, the hardest thing now, obviously, is trying to fit everyone into the two sides. The biggest decision that you have to have is a good scouting system. A lot of these young blokes are going to be let go next season because they won't be able to fit into the 40-odd, so it'll be hard for Cronulla to keep all these players. Looking forward to this match, looking forward to your call. We will be back at the stadium right after this, and don't forget, at 3 o'clock, commercial free, the main game. Beware of the dogs. The football stadium, and see some of the young supporters there. Their number one man, Bar Lamb, and I guess no matter what form of or team you follow in rugby league, you've got to admire the way he plays the game. OK, the two teams are coming out for this President's Cup grand final. We join our commentators for the match, Andrew Voss and Steve Blocker-Roach.
Thank you, Ken, and quite a moment for the Cronulla Sharks. This young Cronulla side out onto the Sydney Football Stadium. As minor premiers, we mentioned just one loss throughout the season. That was way back in April. And that loss was a goal after the full-time siren. So how close can you go to going through a year undefeated? As we look at the young Roosters, as they come out onto their home ground, the Sydney Football Stadium. They've come through the sudden death the last 3 weekends. And they've done it in style last week, beating Canterbury 21-14. Before that, Newcastle the first week of the semis. And Illawarra in the minor semi-final 26-10. They're here today. They lost to Cronulla during the year 24-14. But Eastern Suburbs, of course, are the defending champions in President's Cup. As we look at the Cronulla lineup for today, David Peachy, Matt Daylight, Matthew Rogers and Jason Wright are the centres. Ben Samet, the halves Adam Dykes and Gavin Clinch, the halfback and captain. And the forward pack, some size there. Adam Ritson in 34, Dean Treaster, Damien O'Donnell, Sean Ryan, Scott Krillowitz and Nick Graham. They're coached by Stuart Raper. And through this Eastern Suburbs lineup, their fullback Grant Wheelhouse, the wingers Patrick Byrne and Chris Crotty, the centres Shane Rigon and Frank Napoli, the halves Jason Stanton and Richie Allen, and their forward pack Adam Starr, Robert Mears, Nicholas Edwards, Hamish Smith, Chris Kelly the captain and Shane Millard, their coaches Arthur Katinas. Let's set the scene from the sideline, Gary Belcher.
Thanks, Andrew. Yes, another almost perfect day here for the grand final. About 5,000 people here already, and they're flooding in to watch these young players take the field. Of course, we've got something like a north-northwesterly breeze, and Cronulla have won the toss. They're running into that breeze towards the scoreboard.
Thank you, Gary. Graham Annesley, the man in charge. The kick-off to grand final day 1994. Ranked number 3 amongst the referees. Bill Harrigan, of course, will have charge of reserve grade, and Greg McCallum in his swan song in Winfield Cup football will control the first grade. But right now, the crowd, I guess, up around the 10,000 mark to watch this kick-off to the day. A few Eastern Suburbs supporters amongst them, likewise Cronulla. This is what they work for from, well, around about October, November last year. They've made it through to the grand final. And Eastern Suburbs get play underway defending the Paddington end. And David Peachy from the kick-off. And the Sharks, one player there, number 36 for Eastern Suburbs, Nicholas Edwards, a young player from the Parramatta Juniors, Parramatta Marist, as a matter of fact. This time it's the lock forward, Nick Graham, tackled. 25 metres out from his own line. First touch of the ball for Adam Ritson. A danger man, you can see there, 4 defenders. They know they have to lock him up with the ball today. This is Krillowitz playing it, 10 metres inside his own half. And now O'Donnell. Fair lump of a lad too, the front rower. 36 for Cronulla, Damien O'Donnell. And a pretty handy set of 6 for the Cronulla Sharks, holding it for 5 and kicking on the last. And Eastern Suburbs with their first touch of the ball 20 metres out from their own line.
And Andrew, not that they need any extra incentive, but of course Cronulla hoping to reverse the result of last year. Eastern Suburbs are the reigning premiers in President's Cup, and these are the 2 sides that went around at this venue last year. On that occasion, Eastern Suburbs got the money. Cronulla here, a good start for them, a good kick and chase there, and a very enthusiastic start.
Now working the blind side, Richie Allen working that play. Out of support there and Rigon. He's come up with a drop ball, and in fact Cronulla come up with a 10 metres inside the east half.
And just watching the Cronulla side all season, their under-21 side, they do the little things well, Pete. They run from dummy half, they chase from marker, they get to their kicking game. Very solid team.
Now a big chance as Ritson takes it forward, crashing through the first line. Now inside the Roosters 20. They work the right side of the field through clinch on to Dykes. Adam Dykes, the 5'8". He comes back in field to Sean Ryan. He's a player with plenty of talent. He gets the offload to Gavin Clinch. A half chance now for the halfback. And again, almost back where they started, where Ritson played the ball. Still 18 metres out from the line. The ball away to Sean Ryan. I mentioned I was surprised to see this young man, Sean Ryan, in first grade next season. As they come across through Gavin Clinch. They kick into the in-goal area, not a good one. And running the ball out for the Eastern Suburbs side is Chris Crotty, and the pressure off the Roosters.
Pretty ordinary kick there. It was a big line and a very condensed defensive line from Eastern Suburbs. 2 or 3 men overlap. Gavin Clinch decided to put the ball through. The worst result was that it didn't get into the in-goal area to force a line drop out.
So a fairly even opening to the match. The Roosters now through Hamish Smith in the 37. Young man who's played a fair bit of reserve grade this year and locked up on contract for the next few seasons. This is Shane Millard, the lock forward. Good ball inside the wheelhouse.
And that's the boy that has been on fire for the Eastern Suburbs Roosters, the lock forward, Shane Millard. Very, very strong runner with the football and showed his skills there to offload the football as Peachy takes it off his own line.
Richie Allen was the man who put boot to ball. And Peachy, oh so dangerous in the major semi-final. Cronulla wiped out Canterbury 32-0. And Peachy scored 1 try of over 50 metres in that match. It's Cronulla now, the blind side they go. This is Nick Graham, the lock forward. Another player who's had a taste of first grade. Now Sean Ryan taking front on, some good defence that time. Came from Adam Starr, the big front rower for the Roosters. Probably the tallest player out on the field. Now Ritson again. Certainly leaving his mark on the opening stages of this match. Not a good play, the ball.
Well, it's really up to Adam Starr to single out Ritson and try and take him on front on. As we said, he is the biggest player in the Eastern Suburbs side. Ritson already causing problems. 4 or 5 into the tackle to put him on the ground. That gives you space out wide.
This time it's Chris Crotty bringing it back infield. See the Roosters 15 metres out from their own line. Adam Starr not really standing deep on that play. Tackled there by Graham and also Krillowitz, the second rower. There's Mears, and now the first penalty goes the way of Eastern Suburbs inside the 10. And a relieving penalty at that, 32 metres out from the east line.
And also the first mistake in the game. The handling from both of these teams has been outstanding. So one drop ball very early on in the game, but since then the sets of 6 have been very well constructed. You can see there the Cronulla defensive line well in front of the referee. That won't find touch. There's another mistake, and this could be costly. Peachy catches the ball 30 metres out from his own line.
And with some open space, beats 2, got past Allen and Mears. Now away to Sean Ryan. Up over halfway goes big Sean Ryan. Just an ankle tap stopped him. 40 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. They come across field now through Adam Dykes. The ball, he found a support. And tackled with it as Jason Wright of the centre. Again, stumbling. A few players having trouble keeping their feet. As this time it's Damien O'Donnell, the strong charge centre field. 25 metres out, right in front of the Eastern Suburbs posts. It's clinched with a switch of play to Krillowitz. He unloads. Great pass from Scott Krillowitz. Equally good tackle, Jason Stanton, I think it was, the Eastern Suburbs 5'8". It comes across now through clinch. Chance on the right side. David Peachy loses the ball over the line. It won't be a try to the 28, Matt Daylight. Got a close escape for the Eastern Suburbs Roosters.
It could nearly have been a penalty for the Cronulla side. The Eastern Suburbs were in all sorts of trouble there on the open side. I thought he ripped the ball out there, Pete. Should have been a penalty. Should have been an easy try to David Peachy.
Well, some great defence there really in the end to get away with that. Good ball, and again, that did come back to the fact that Eastern Suburbs failed to find touch with the penalty kick. Wheelhouse came up with the tackle that counted. So after 6 minutes, it's all locked up here. And it's important for Eastern Suburbs to get away to a good start. The longer they can stay with the Sharks, the more chance they are of winning this game.
Now Eastern Suburbs with their backs well spread out. This is the man who made that tackle, Grant Wheelhouse, up to halfway. Nick Graham affects the tackle, the 39, and lock forward. Now Nicholas Edwards, I mentioned, from the Parramatta Maris side, played in the Commonwealth Bank Cup this year. There's Robert Mears now at a dummy half, a creative player. The kick a little too deep that time. And once again, David Peachy with a chance from the back. Gets around his man, and Peachy's away. He's 10 metres inside his half, make that 5 metres inside his own half before Shane Rigon comes up with a tackle.
Or a dangerous player to try and chip over the top. Mears, I was waiting for him to run from dummy half. He chipped over, it was right down Peachy's throat. And he made the good crack, a 30-metre break up the sideline.
So things starting to swing the way of the minor premiers, the Cronulla Sharks. It's grand final day. The ball comes across again to Ritson, this time standing a little wider. Managed to offload. I thought the pass may have been forward in any case to Jason Ryder. He was unable to handle, so the scrum feed will go the way of Eastern Suburbs.
It's been used quite well, Adam Ritson. On this occasion, one off the ruck, getting a little bit wider. Pass there, put a little bit of pressure on his support player and forced a mistake. Eastern Suburbs now come up with the football 35 metres out centre field.
Playing at that time was Frank Napoli, another player who's been used in first grade this year. Good ball again from Shane Millard, the lock forward. That time standing and passing on the inside. Mears gets out of dummy half, made 10 metres and catches the man offside. Smart play from the hooker. And Eastern Suburbs with a great chance to go on the attack.
Yeah, both sides at the moment having a bit of trouble to get back to 10 metres. Mears up the blind side, saw the Cronulla players were offside. A good play from him to pinch the penalty. Only 20 metres out from the Cronulla line.
What a confidence booster it would be if the Roosters can come up with first points. This is Crotty again, infield. They're 25 out from the Sharks line. Mears across again to Millard. He's already popped 2 passes in this match. They liken him to Alan Cann at Eastern Suburbs, certainly in stature. As it comes back inside to Hamish Smith, tackle 10 metres out from the line. The Cronulla defence numbering up well just at this stage. Mears out of dummy half, steals another 5 metres. Almost catching the defence napping. Gavin Clinch, the halfback, affects the tackle. Grant Wheelhouse is in a dummy half. Across to Richie Allen. Good pass to Stanton, the 5'8". It's the last tackle, 5 metres out from the line. Big front rower in a dummy half, Nicholas Edwards. Interesting kick from Richie Allen.
Well, that's a shocking kick from Allen. All he had to do was chip into the short side and try and trap Cronulla on their own line, and it would have forced the line drop out. Poor kick.
He was trying to put the bomb up, which isn't a bad tactic. You can see there plenty of pressure from the Cronulla player coming through, actually rebounded into the teammates' hands. Maybe a little bit harsh on him.
Well, I thought he took the wrong option. He should have just chipped into the in goal and got the football back.
The Sharks working it out of their own 20.
I'm not going to argue with him. Look at the size of him.
not going to belt him either. There's Cronulla, 25 metres out from their own line. And not such a good kick from Matt Rogers. Plenty of height, not a great deal of distance, but I like the bounce.
Great kick. That's exactly what the side needed. There you see one of the future stars kicking the football here, young Rogers, the son of Steve Rogers, of course, which is sometimes a little bit difficult for young players having that kind of pedigree, but he's one player that looks as though he's going to go right through the grades.
Why does that happen when you say not a great kick? And this scrum inside the Eastern Suburbs half. Richie Allen. And the Roosters well spread out again through Stanton. Now to Rigon. I think he's the youngest player out on the field, Shane Rigon, the centre. Just 17 years of age. Great hairdo too. Got well slicked back for grand final day. And again, it's the Roosters 10 inside their own half.
You'd want to be able to play with a haircut like that, wouldn't you?
Don't leave me out.
Or be able to fight. As Millard. Mears works the blind side. Now it's Hamish Smith. Getting it inside the Cronulla half. And the Roosters, they've withstood some early pressure and growing in confidence now as they come across field, trying to find some space. That was Stanton. The 5'8", Jason Stanton. Inside ball to Nicholas Edwards on the last. Now to Richie Allen. Well, that's not the best grubber. An interesting repertoire of kicks, Richie Allen, the halfback. But he is the playmaker in the Eastern Suburbs side.
But again, take nothing away from the Cronulla defence late in the tackle count, not giving the Eastern Suburbs kickers a free kick, taking time away from them, and that's forcing some pretty ordinary efforts. There's a penalty for Eastern Suburbs being inside the 10. Important now that the Roosters hang on because they've had a fair bit of football in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Now they've got to defend.
Yes, and a fair enough penalty there too. A lot of the Eastern Suburbs players right in front of the referee. Bad there. You've got to stand next to him, have a bit of a chat to him, tell him that you're all onside.
Stuart Raper, son of Chook Raper, a young man in the coaching ranks, just 29 years of age. And a good coaching team Cronulla have under John Lang, of course, the head of it all in first grade, and Shane Richardson, their football manager. They've certainly got their house in order. As now forward they go, O'Donnell, 10 metres out from the line. Big chance for the Sharks. Mears holding it up for clinch. Ritson comes up with a drop ball. And he was hitting the line at pace as well. And would have been extremely hard to stop had he held on to the ball.
It was a nice plan move as well. Looking to find Ritson again on the fringe of the ruck, but another mistake out there. See, there are a couple of decoy players. A little bit staggered the Eastern Suburbs defence, but they did have numbers there. They'll be pretty thankful that they've got this scrum feed now close to their own line.
And they're back with it. 20 metres out from their own line. Richie Allen gets out of dummy half. Taking it the blind side, able to steal 10 metres. Just 19 years of age, made his first grade debut this year against Manly at Brookvale. I think that was the week after Manly had flogged St George, so it was a tough assignment for young Richie Allen when he came into first grade. As across they come, Millard, short ball to Edwards. He's come up with a drop ball, Nicholas Edwards. Ritson picking up the loose ball. And Gary Belcher will take a comment from the sideline.
Andrew, obviously there's a lot of pressure on Adam Ritson as the playmaker for Cronulla. As you see a break from Peachy.
He's away, David Peachy up over the 20. Now only Wheelhouse to beat. The cover's good though from Eastern Suburbs. Frank Napoli came up with a tackle on David Peachy. Still on if they can spread the ball left. A poor pass, that one, behind the back of Adam Dykes. He keeps it going forward. And tackled 10 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. And they're all back in play, Eastern Suburbs. They've done well. There's Damien O'Donnell now, 10 metres out from the line, going across field. Edwards comes up with a tackle, also Shane Millard there. 10 out from the line. Treaster. He got the pass away now to Ritson. Almost had the arm free that time, Adam Ritson. The Roosters have done well to regroup here as Treaster across field. Back he comes. In fact, it's Jason Wright at the centre. He gets the pass away to Treaster this time. Now the clinch. They've got the overlap on the right. Gavin Clinch goes himself, and that's the first try of Grand Final Day 1994. Gavin Clinch, the Cronulla captain, gets it. And the Sharks jump to a 4-0 lead.
Set up by the great work from David Peachy again, getting outside the Eastern Suburbs defence out wide. And 3 or 4 rucks later, they've converted that into points. But here's Peachy. Look at that for evasive skill. Outside 3 players, almost Ken Nagus-like in his running style. Pretty high tackle there from Wheelhouse. It was effective. A bad pass from dummy half slowed things down. But here you'll see that the try scorer gets outside the front rower, Adam Starr. That's what you're trying to do. Get your nippy men your smart inside men up against the bigger players in defence, and Adam Starr just hasn't got the pace to get across and cover.
What about the pass from Jason Ryder, it was, who stood in the tackle? He changed the ball in his hands. Watch his two tacklers there. He changes the ball in his right hand. Beautiful offload there to his captain. He just runs away. Too much pace, as Peter said, for Adam Starr. He's had a good start to this game, Starr, but it's a good try to Cronulla to open up the scoring.
So Gavin Clinch, the start he wanted, the captain, coming up with a first 4-pointer. And this shot at goal to come from around about 10 metres off centre, 12 metres out, Matt Rogers. First chance to have a close look at Matt. I think the tally for points this year is something like 226 points in all grades for the Sharks. He doesn't just kick goals, he scores plenty of tries, this young centre. An enormous talent, thought of very highly with the Cronulla Sharks. A man that's going to be there for many, many years to come. As the first kick of the day for Matthew Rogers, he adds the 2 points. And the ideal start for the Cronulla Sharks. They lead Eastern Suburbs by 6 points to 0. Final day, perfect weather conditions, and Cronulla leading Eastern Suburbs by 6 points to 0. The Sharks in possession, 25 metres out from their own line, and it's Ritson working the blind side again. Front on by 3 Eastern Suburbs defenders. Hamish Smith, the 37, down around the ankles, is working up to halfway now. Treester out of dummy half. Might cross back to Gary Belcher. Last time we crossed, David Peachy with a long break. Very impressive player, Gary.
Yeah, very impressive player. The one who I was going to speak about, I mentioned Adam Ritson, but it's his front row partner, Damien O'Donnell, who's doing some great work taking the ball forward. His defence has been excellent. I think he's certainly leading the points decision over Ritson at the moment.
This is Eastern Suburbs back with it. The kick came from Clinch, and Patrick Byrne cleaning up. 10 out from his own line. Now Wheelhouse out of dummy half. Grant Wheelhouse, a player not under contract for next year with Eastern Suburbs.
Well, I know Eastern Suburbs play this sort of game for ball security, a lot of running from dummy half. I'd just like to see them open up a little bit more when they're in their own half.
If that's to happen, Richie Allen, the halfback, is the player that has to instigate the move. And he's been a little quiet to date. Here's Robert Mears again out of dummy half. Takes another 5 metres until he meets Adam Ritson. Last tackle, Allen with a kick. Eastern Suburbs chase is a good one. Bearing down now on the Sharks, and an excellent chase indeed. Coming up with a tackle, Frank Napoli on Matt Daylight. Cronulla now with the job of trying to work it out of that red zone outside their own 20. Sydney Football Stadium never really looked better for a grand final day. Perfect order. This is Nick Graham playing at 30 out from his own line. Sharks working their way back upfield, up by 6 points to 0 as Dykes into dummy half, away to Ritson. And again, every time he touches the ball, it's 2 and 3 defenders, and every time he touches the ball, it's 10 or 15 metres gain for Cronulla.
Yes, and Cronulla would be well paid too if Adam Ritson fought to get up a little bit quicker in the ruck. There'd be some space out wide, whether it be on the blind side or the open.
Well-placed kick again from Gavin Clinch to the corner. Patrick Byrne doing well, and then throwing the pass. So the Roosters with some confidence to attack from just out from their own line. Tackled with the ball that time is the 5'8" Jason Stanton. As Riggin gets out of dummy half, takes another 5. The defence that time came from Matt Rogers. Mears turning the direction of the attack to the blind. And Eastern Suburbs now 15 inside their own half. It comes across, I know one player is being quiet. That's Kelly. Good ball from the captain. And a loose ball. It dropped by Grant Wheelhouse. And Sean Ryan it is who goes across field. Adam Starr pretty quiet in attack for Eastern Suburbs.
So I think the referee was going to call a forward pass there, but has played advantage. Cronulla coming up with the football, and that's been Eastern Suburbs' problem, that they haven't really been able to control possession. Again, Cronulla with good field position early in the tackle count.
Well, they're 35 metres out, as you can see, from the Eastern Suburbs line, and finding a gap straight up the middle. It's Treester. Just saw half a gap and he was through. Peachy in a dummy half. They're spread out on the right. That's the way they go now through Dykes. They had the decoy runner. Rogers comes into the line. And back centre field on the last tackle. Clinch with a kick. It may be a little too deep from the halfback. It is. Gavin Clinch. And we'll come back to the 20 for the restart. The pressure once again off the Eastern Suburbs side. Just receiving attention there is the hooker, Dean Treester, for Cronulla.
Well, that's the second time that Cronulla have gone along the ground. They might be better off trying to go for the high ball and contest that high ball. Put a little bit of pressure on Eastern Suburbs in their own in-goal area.
Well, hang on. You wanted them to roll in the in-goal at the other end of the field.
Yeah, that was East.
Oh, okay.
Mate, you've got to mix it up a bit, Pete. You know the rules. That's what they're not doing at the moment. That's why they can't get out of their own half, because they're not mixing up.
Yeah, you made the point that Eastern Suburbs aren't stringing together any passes. Again, this one-out stuff, what it doesn't do is put pressure on the opponent's defence. Star nearly got a good ball away there, but they're not working Cronulla over in defence. They're not having to spread too much in defence at all, only having to worry about the one man. On this occasion, it was one time where that pass should have been taken and there was open spaces.
Thinking Gary Belcher, he can play arbitrator of any arguments, Gary.
Oh, well, I don't know about that one, Stello. I do know that East are making a change, as well as Cronulla. Jules Parry, it's the 20-minute mark. He's coming on into the forwards, replacing Nick Edwards. And number 47, Luke Taper, is warming up, ready to come on for Cronulla.
Let him go.
In the meantime, Cronulla winning that scrum, and once again, Peachy almost getting on the outside of his man. As forward, they go through O'Donnell, tackled. They're 30 out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Treaster's off again from dummy half and makes 10 metres. Once again, there was half a gap there. There was a weight to it. And Cronulla, maybe another try looming as Clinch goes through the gap, slips the pass. The Sharks just 2 metres out from the line. Adam Dykes is tackled. Ritson will have a go himself out of dummy half. He stumbles. That makes it easy for the defence. It's the last tackle. 5 out from the line. They've got numbers on the left. Clinch with a cutout ball. It has to be a try to the Sharks. David Peachy puts it down. The last pass may have almost been forward, but Cronulla have their second try and they lead by 10 points to 0.
It's very good work there on the last tackle, running the football instead of kicking, because they knew that to the left they had big numbers. The cutout pass was the key play. Very sparse in defence there, Eastern Suburbs. Would have scored the try himself, but threw the ball to David Peachy, who it took a little while to put the ball down. Just well executed here. They took advantage of the numbers they had out wide.
Yeah, some outstanding young talent in the Cronulla side. Gavin Clinch, the captain again, saw that the long ball was on. Good vision from him, and an easy try to David Peachy, who's been Cronulla's best player early in this first half.
And David Peachy, 13 tries for the season. He started the year in first grade, or in fact came into first grade once Ben Samet was injured after the very first match of the year against Canberra. And then, of course, further on down the track, David Peachy replaced in first grade by Dave Watson. But I don't think Dave Watson will be back next year, and David Peachy looks ready to make his entry into first grade once again.
And just all over the park, Pete, with big Adam Ritson making the yards in the middle of the ruck. The little hooker, Treaster, making yards, scooting away there, and also good halves, Clinch and Dykes, carving up this Eastern Suburbs side at the moment.
Yeah, it makes it easier for blokes like David Peachy when they've got some space provided from the platform. Dean Treaster's been outstanding. He picked up 10, 15 metres constantly in this game.
There's the attempt from Matt Rogers, swinging back. It looks like he's got the extra 2. Cronulla maybe on a roll. They lead by 12 points to 0. Stadium Grand Final day. Cronulla doing it nicely in President's Cup. They lead by 12 points to 0. And of course they have the reserve grade Grand Final to come against Newcastle. Right now the Sharks, Sean Ryan slipping the pass just short of halfway. And again, it's that man Treaster in support. Up over the top by that replacement player Jules Parry in 48. Cronulla, they look so sharp now as Ritson straight up the middle and slips the pass just past the man Jason Ryder. Annesley rules play on.
Well, I'll tell you what I do like about Adam Ritson. He's got the intelligence to play right in close to the ruck, and when the pressure's on, he skips out one off the ruck. So very, very experienced player, Adam Ritson.
Pressure here. The bounce favours Eastern Suburbs. Keeps going. If it had have came back, the man bearing down on the kick, Matt Rogers, may well have been looking at try number 3.
A good kick, this one, because it has forced another set of 6. Crotty praying that the ball would bounce deep enough to go over the in-goal area without having to play. Matthew Rogers put the pressure on. And Cronulla now, if they could score another try here, they'll just about wrap this up. Pretty tough to come from more than 2 tries down. The way things are going, things looking ominous for Eastern Suburbs defensively.
Adam Dykes playing at 30 out from the Eastern Suburbs line. As he's one of the replacement players, Brad Williams tackled. Played in last year's grand final. He knows what it's all about. And I guess revenge factor is there for the Sharks as Sean Ryan again hits it up. It's a good game, this second rower, Sean Ryan. 9 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. They work the right side. This is Luke Taper. Another one of the replacements tackled. Mears finishing off the tackle. The Eastern Suburbs hook at the 35. As back they come through Adam Dykes. He's looking to throw the long ball. Rogers comes close. Got away from 2. And the drop ball by Gavin Clinch and Eastern Suburbs back with it. Playing it will be their captain, Chris Kelly.
Well, Eastern Suburbs again lucky there. They look dangerous when they go out wide. Plenty of options there. We saw Rogers play on the inside there off Peachy. That put the defence in two minds. Unfortunately, the pass goes to ground. Eastern Suburbs in all sorts of trouble.
Well, statistically, the writing's on the board for them. Eastern Suburbs, they've missed 12 tackles compared to Cronulla's 1. That's outstanding from defence from the Sharkies early in this game. Missing tackles in grand finals is going to cost you the game, and Eastern Suburbs are the team that are coming up with the mistakes defensively.
It's the movement of the Cronulla defence too. They keep on coming. Whether they stand in the tackle and offload the football, there's always someone to round them up.
The last tackle reached for Eastern Suburbs. Millard playing it. They've got really no option but to kick as Allen. No sooner did I say that, they decide to run, then Stanton gets the kick away. Not such a bad one either from the 5'8". It works out okay for Eastern Suburbs. Stanton fighting touch, 25 metres out from the Cronulla line. Just for a moment, though, some panic on the last tackle from the Roosters. I suppose I should give credit to the chase too, the harassment of the Cronulla defenders as they moved up on the kicker. Slow getting across to the scrum.
Well, somehow the Roosters have to force a mistake from Cronulla here. We've got just under 8.5 minutes to go in this first half. They need to get some points on the board, Eastern Suburbs, to get their confidence going. 12 behind at the moment. If they could go in trailing by a couple of points, then they would believe that they might be able to do something second half. But at the moment, I can't remember the last time they had the football in Cronulla's 20-metre area.
And I can't remember the last time they spread the football a couple of passes out to their backs. The blokes would be dying out there waiting for the football to come out there.
As Nick Graham has tackled 10 metres inside his own half. Trooster with some smart work, and now a penalty again to Cronulla. So it's going to be the Sharks to go on the attack inside the 10 Eastern Suburbs. Hamish Smith, the 37, the player caught out. And Matt Rogers just debating with his teammates whether to kick for the line. They take the tap. Rogers away, and Eastern Suburbs not a straight line to meet him either. Coming up with a tackle was Frank Napoli. Cronulla go the blind side. This is Williams, the replacement tackle. Into the pack he moves. They come forward this time. This is Adam Ritson again. And again, it's 2 and 3 defenders to bring him down.
The block you've seen a lot of Cronulla this year. Are they the kind of team that would kick field goals?
I don't think they'd worry about it now, Pete. They've had the opportunity a couple of times to score. So I think they'll go for the try. There's only 7 minutes left. Obviously, it'll be in their minds, but I think they can score a try before half-time.
They're certainly bringing the ball centre field. They're in position on the last tackle if they want to have a shot. They're going to go to the left side. It's Gavin Clinch taking it to the line, then the kick. Chris Crotty's having a tough time in the match again. He has to take it over the in-goal area. Great chase through there that time from Ben Samet. And Chris Crotty again wishing the ball to go over the dead ball line.
Well, this ended up being a great kick here. Looked as though it was odds on to go over the sideline. The pressure from Samet forced Crotty to have to play at the football again. Another set of 6. I'll catch this inside the half of Eastern Suburbs and straight away back on the attack.
If Ben Samet in fact got a hand of that ball, it would have to be Eastern Suburbs back in possession, but not the way they ruled. But it's the Sharks on the attack. As up they go, this is Nick Graham, the lock forward. Plenty of size about him too. Nick Graham, 15 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. They're all lined up to the left. Forward they go again. Sean Ryan tackled 5 out from the line. Robert Mears, a good tackle around the ankles. Cross to Gavin Clinch stepping. Inside ball to Ritson again, he can't handle. He was under plenty of pressure as he received that pass as well, Adam Ritson. But again, if he hangs on to it, he just about plunges over for the try.
Yeah, for sure. Good play from Ritson there, putting himself in the position to receive the ball on the inside. He changed his mind. Should have been taking that ball and would have been try time to Cronulla.
Eastern Suburbs for, I guess, the last 10-15 minutes. Every time they've got the ball, it's working it away from their own 20 and from their own goal line. All the defence they're doing as well has to take it out of them, as Richie Allen not electing to run. Got the pass away. Millard trying to turn that inside ball again. It comes loose. And it'll be a double knock on. The first knock on, though, against Eastern Suburbs. So another chance coming up to half-time for the Sharks. This scrum 25 out from the Roosters line. Shane Millard at least trying something as he got to the line. It has paid off a couple of times in this half. ET casting an eye over the young Sharks. We're thinking, when Matt Rogers going to take my spot in first grade, something like that.
Well, is that for the ratings? So the girls at home will be watching the telly at the moment.
We had a shot of you earlier, Steve. Lee wanting this scrum again. Clinch with a feed. And here's a move.
Ritson
standing out at 5'8".
World's biggest 5'8".
No contest as Rogers at a dummy half. They're standing back the Cronulla side that time, which has made an easy 10 metres. You can see there, just out from the eastern suburbs line, Sean Ryan again forward. Tackled front on by Chris Kelly, the second rower. Treaster in a dummy half. A bit of a mix-up there, Luke Taper standing flat-footed. Cronulla lose the play on that occasion. As it comes across to clinch the long ball, out to Rogers. One more pass and we may have to try Samet going for the line. Crotty can't hold him. Samet gets over the line. It's another try to the Cronulla Sharks bench. Samet gets it this time, the wing of the 31. And Cronulla coming up to half-time, lead by 16 points to 0.
Yes, almost a carbon copy of the last try with the long cutout pass from Gavin Clinch. Proving successful for them. There's the long pass there. Good defence from Eastern Suburbs in getting the numbers there sliding across, but it all broke down. The Cronulla player was able to step back inside, and Crotty did not have the strength to hold Ben Samet out. It looked like they had it covered just before half-time. The third try for the Cronulla side.
Yeah, it shows you what a good side the Cronulla side are. There was nothing on there. Eastern Suburbs had all the numbers there. Pretty ordinary tackle there from Crotty. He should have drove him into touch, but Samet too much strength there and dives over. It's a good lead just on half-time.
A big comeback from this player, Ben Samet. Did the cruciate ligament, as we mentioned, first game of the year against Canberra. Playing fullback in first grade. Been a long way back for him. And getting to play on grand final day. Amy Smith, the player replaced for Eastern Suburbs. The 44 goes on, Jamie Johnson. And this kick from Rogers, a tough one. 25 metres out. He's 5 in from touch. The left footer, Matt Rogers. He struck the first two pretty well. This time again going for the post. He can do no wrong, Matt Rogers. 3 out of 3. And Cronulla lead by 18 points to 0. Sydney Football Stadium. This is Grand Final Day 1994. The President's Cup. Cronulla in control against Eastern Suburbs. 18 points to 0. You can see just 90 seconds out from half-time. The Sharks may not have shut shop just yet, even though they're 10 metres inside their own half, as Treaster with a pass across the line to Williams. Tackled by Kelly.
They've done a great job to get here to the grand final, Eastern Suburbs, but it's not a time to shut up shop. They've just been pretty ordinary in the first half, a lot of runs from dummy half. Got to be a little bit more adventurous with the football when they have got it. Cronulla are very good at the swarming defence.
And again, a very controlled set of 6 from Cronulla, holding it for 5. Good kick on the last, making 30, 40 metres.
Been some outstanding performers for Cronulla too. With Clinch, the captain, the halfback, great player. Ritson O'Donnell, also some very, very good players out wide. David Peachy been involved well in the game too.
This is Jamie Johnson, first touch of the ball, the 44. Adam Starr, he made 25 hit-ups last week in the final. Maybe that's taken the edge off his game.
Well, I don't know if Eastern Suburbs have had the football as much. They haven't had it in any attacking opportunities. You see an offload there. But this is only about the 4th time I can remember Eastern Suburbs being in Cronulla's territory.
Across to Richie Allen, desperate for a try coming up to half-time. Regan almost around the outside of Adam Dykes. Good tackle. So 10 seconds remaining in the half as Allen takes it forward. It is the last tackle for the Roosters. Back it comes to Kelly with a kick for the corner. And fielded easily there by the winger Matt Daylight. And straight back on the attack. That will be half-time.
Got some speed too, the young fella Daylight. That's what I like to see, receiving the ball on the full. Straight into gear.
That's the first 35 minutes of Grand Final Day. Cronulla very, very happy with their half's work. They lead Eastern Suburbs by 18 points to 0. We'll take a break and be back with more.
The nightmare on Mall Street. Well, that's what the Raiders are hoping will be the case this afternoon when the Raiders take on the Canterbury Bulldogs in the grand final first grade at 3 o'clock. Commercial free right here on the Wide World of Sports. And Sterlo, it's been confirmed that Paul Osborne is in the starting lineup for the Raiders. No surprise.
No, no great surprise. As Paul pointed out earlier, his experience factor will be important for them in the first 20 minutes. Sometimes your enthusiasm can override your execution. That won't happen with Paul Osborne, and probably the sensible way to go for Tim Sheens.
OK, what about this game that we've got on our hands right now in the President's Cup? A little bit disappointing from the point of view of the eastern suburbs, not showing a lot of flair in attack at all. And, of course, not taking anything away from Cronulla. They've got plenty of flair and they're tackling very well.
Well, something of a nightmare we saw on Mall Street. It's something of that way for Eastern Suburbs here in the President's Cup Grand Final. 18 points to 0 down, and really they've been their own worst enemies. Their defence hasn't been that great. They've handed the football over in their own territory, and Cronulla have been good enough to capitalise on that. 3 line breaks for Cronulla side, and each time it's led to tries, so their execution is great.
OK, well, their first try came up in the 13th minute. Let's take a look at it right now. It's young Gavin Clinch.
10 out from the line. Treaster. He got the pass away now to Ritson. Almost had the arm free that time, Adam Ritson. The Roosters have done well to regroup here as Treaster across field. Back he comes. In fact, it's Jason Wright at the centre. He gets the pass away to Treaster this time. Now to Clinch. They've got the overlap on the right. Gavin Clinch goes himself, and that's the first try.
This has been a little while coming after David Peachey made the long break. But good work from Wright at the number 30 to get the ball away, keep the ball alive, and eventually Gavin Clinch scored the try. He sets up the next 2 with his long passing game. But Eastern Suburbs had started well. Eventually they started to come up with mistakes, and it was Cronulla that really put the pressure on by scoring that first try.
Yeah, good combination of the backs with the forwards with the young Cronulla side. Let's take a look at their second try, which was the result of some very, very good lead-up work. And once again, this is David Peachey setting up and being involved in this one.
It's the last tackle. 5 out from the line. They've got numbers on the left. Clinch with a cutout ball. It has to be a try to the Sharks. David Peachey puts it down.
Has got plenty of tries throughout this year, David Peachey. Good work on the inside. Sean Ryan could have scored the try himself. The cutout pass from Gavin Clinch allowed some space out wide, and David Peachey, as Andrew Voss has pointed out, has played plenty of first grade this year. Started, I think, in the second game there, and I think he'll be a player of the future as well. Will certainly put some pressure on the fullback first grade spot next season.
And the third try, they're starting to get a little bit hungry then, and of course, you know, they looked like Eastern Suburbs were bunching up a little bit, and the flair of these kids, of course, is going to be very, very telling in the next 40 minutes. But let's take a look at the third try, 31st minute for Cronulla.
Treaster in a dummy half. A bit of a mix-up there. Luke Taper standing flat-footed. Cronulla lose the play on that occasion. As it comes across to Clinch, the long ball out to Rogers. One more pass and we may have to try. Samet going for the line. Crotty can't hold him. Samet gets over the line.
Well, looking back over this game, this may well be the key try of the match. 12-0 up until this stage, just before half-time, and Samet shows enough strength to hold off Crotty, who really should have done a better job there. Eastern Suburbs had that try covered. If they'd have gone in 12 points to 0 down, I think they'd have thought they were a chance. 18-0, it's a big mountain to climb.
And Matthew Rogers kicking all sorts of good goals, 3 from 3. Dad'd be fairly happy with his son's performance. Steve?
He's a fine young prospect, Matthew Rogers. We've given him plenty of raps in this first half, and it's such a great confidence builder for a team, as we'll see from Canterbury later in this afternoon, that when you score 4 points, generally it's 6. And Matthew Rogers, he's a fine goal kicker as well. It's a great attribute.
Thanks, Turlo. Back with the second half of the President's Cup Grand Final right after this. Stadium, crowd building up for the big one later on this afternoon. But in the meantime, we have the grand final in President's Cup between Cronulla, Sutherland and East. Right now, here's your commentator, Andrew Voss.
And can there be some sort of comeback? The second half of Eastern Suburbs are to get their noses in front, down by 18 points to 0. We look at those first half statistics, and Eastern Suburbs have had to do more tackles, but that missed tackle count, a great worry for their players and for their coach, Arthur Katinas.
Yeah, well, that's a worrying stat too. 17 missed tackles for the Eastern Suburbs side, only 6 for the Cronulla Sutherland side. They've done a bit more with the ball too, pretty even with the share of possession, 56% too. the Sharkies and only 44% to Eastern Suburbs.
I think one of the key ones there, Block, if we have a look at the number of times with the ball, Eastern Suburbs have had it on 15 occasions. They've only been able to hold it through to the 6 tackle on 6 occasions, and that's not a good enough conversion rate. 17 to 10 is a better one for the Sharks.
Well, Pete, you'd think it'd be a lot better too, the way that Eastern Suburbs do play the game of football. They generally run from dummy half and only one out in the ruck. It wouldn't be that hard to get to your end of the set of 6, but you've got to give a rap to the Cronulla defence. They're getting up and playing right at them.
And Graham Annesley blowing time on for the second half, I guess, right at this point. Rugby League historians searching the record books to find a side that perhaps hasn't conceded a point in the final series. Cronulla winning their major semi 32-0 and now up by 18 points to blot. At Eastern Suburbs' first use of the ball for the second half was running wide as Stanton, bringing Riggin back inside.
I wonder if that's a sign that Arthur Katinas has told his team that they do have to take some chances. Straight from the kickoff almost on third tackle, they've gone wide. We didn't see that in the entire first half. They've got to score points, they know that, so they've got to be a little bit adventurous.
Let's find out what was said at half-time. Gary Belcher.
Andrew Word's filled it down. Certainly what Peter has said is right. East, they jogged off with some blank stares, waiting for some words of wisdom from their coach. I think he's instilled some positive things in them, told them to go for broke early in the game. Certainly they need to improve their kicking game. That's probably not what they needed there. But they need to put some pressure on Cronulla. Cronulla really haven't had any pressure on their own try line. For the Sharks, well, much more of the same. Certainly the thing they shouldn't try to do is to shut down the game. They need to keep trying to pile on the points.
Yeah, well, the big thing you'd tell your team at half-time if you were Cronulla is just take a good rest for 5 minutes. I don't think you'd have to tell them too much. They don't have to change their game that much from what they did in the first half. It was a great exhibition from them.
This is Dean Treaster getting it up to within 10 metres of halfway. His opposite hooker, Robert Mears, comes up with a tackle front on. And now the first touch for the second half for Ritson. That time they're able to lock up the ball. Cronulla nothing too fancy just for this first set of 6. Forward goes Sean Ryan inside the Eastern Suburbs half. The last tackle for the Sharks. Clinch with a kick again. And again he finds some open space over the head of Grant Wheelhouse, the fullback. And he has the job of 6 or 7 Cronulla defenders right in front of him, just 5 metres out from his own line.
Yeah, that's a great chase from Cronulla, leading the way again. Their halfback and captain, Gavin Clinch, first there onto the move.
And this is Patrick Byrne. Hasn't had a great deal of work to do, the Eastern Suburbs winger. And that ball stolen in the tackle. So a penalty goes the way of the Roosters. Now the first half was all going to Chris Crotty's wing, or at least the kicks and the pressure kicks. There's a replay again of that penalty, reefed out of the arms of Patrick Byrne. And Samet was the player penalised. Forward go the Roosters. 30 out from their own line. Mears. On the outside, tackled there is Kelly, the captain. Captain last year of the victorious Eastern Suburbs President's Cup side. Shaping up that way this year. Is playing the ball as Riggin, just short of halfway. Here comes centre field. Standing almost that time was Jamie Johnson in the 44.
There's a tremendous hit front on there by probably their best player in the first half, Nicholas Edwards. Started off the second half on fire.
They're 30 metres out from the Cronulla line on the last tackle. Richie Allen goes to the sky. Big bomb for David Peachey under pressure and takes it beautifully. David Peachey never took his eye off the ball. The chases were there, but David Peachey totally in control.
Has a very good build for fullback, doesn't he, David Peachey? He's a tall young man, as we see Dean Treaster leaving the field. Peachey climbs high. He's got that height advantage. Great evasive skills as well. And as Andrew pointed out, never took his eye off the football. Took a comfortable catch.
The Sharks going to blind Nick Graham. And one out that time, tackled by Stanton, the 5'8". It's the last tackle for Cronulla. Chase coming through on the kicker, but again Clinch gets it away, and well, he hasn't put a kick down the throat of an opposing player all day. And again, giving his chasers some time to come through, and they complete the job beautifully. Matt Rogers.
What about that for a front-on tackle? Young Rogers, and again chasing from marker.
Only a little bloke too, Matt Rogers. Just did a touch there. The Roosters 30 out from their own line. A star comes back in field. A pass away, front on hit. Adam Ritson puts Chris Kelly on his backside. As across it comes, Eastern Suburbs with a chance. Just
Just having a look at the Cronulla defensive line, their fullback David Peachey plays very flat. You would have thought that Eastern Suburbs could have picked up some good field position with Peachey playing so close behind the line. There you can see he's only 10 or 15 metres behind, but even at the other end of the field, he's not very deep. He's had to turn around and try and catch that one as well.
Yeah, you notice that the Cronulla do play their halfback in the line. That's probably why Peachey does play up a bit shallow. Cronulla know that he's got the pace to turn around and chase after the ball, as we just saw then.
But that's what Eastern Suburbs should be doing then, Steve. They should be making him turn around and chase. The kicking game, as Gary Belcher pointed out, very ordinary in the first half. Really got to turn that man around there so that he finds it pretty tough to bring the football back.
We saw Dean Trester come from the field just a short time ago, giving Scott Krillowitz a chance back on the field in 38 for the Sharks. And Taper's the man who slotted into dummy half Luke Taper. They tell me he's played every position from fullback to hooker. The only position he hasn't played this year is front row. So very versatile player, Luke Taper, for the Cronulla Sharks. Good player to have on the bench. And again, the kick has found some space. Getting across wheelhouse. The chase maybe not quite as good this time as Patrick Byrne, a step off the right foot. Tackled around the legs that time by Jason Ryder, the Shark centre.
No great advantage giving the football to the winger going back in field. If anything, the Cronulla defensive line was a little bit sparse out wide. And giving the ball to the winger, he's running back into 4 or 5 chases coming down the centre of the park.
Millard takes on the defence. Sean Ryan and Luke Taper with a tackle. So if he play the ball from Millard, Mears away now to Johnson. Trying to get on the outside, had the left arm free too, Jamie Johnson, but tackled there by Nick Graham. Comes away this time to Kelly. Unable to offload Chris Kelly, and that's the last tackle. Just inside the Cronulla half, Richie Allen this time. Well, he just hesitated a shade there. Over the head of Matt Daylight, it'll find touch. In two minds almost, the kicker there, Richie Allen. He thought about the chip over the top and ended up a fairly shallow kick.
Well, I'm amazed Eastern Suburbs haven't worked on the inside pass, especially around the ruck. Cronulla chase out at 100 miles an hour from both markers chase. There's plenty of space round in the middle of the ruck. I just can't understand why they haven't used that.
And this scrum just inside the Cronulla 20. They lead by 18 points to 0. We've had 7 minutes of the second half. It's Graham Ennersley looking for as he lost his whistle.
He's looking for the centre of the scrum, Andrew. He could be there all day.
Anyway, the Sharks have won the feed. And Matt Daylight it is who's tackled just outside his own 20. As Ryan gets out of dummy half. Tackled there by Frank Napoli. They come forward through Ritson now. No one just running off the hip there of Adam Ritson if he did get the arms free. Taper out of dummy half again. Blindside through Krillowitz. Tackle just short of halfway. Again, Frank Napoli came up with the defence. Cross through O'Donnell. First touch of the ball I can remember for Damien O'Donnell for the second half. And Taper tackled right on halfway. And Cronulla again, one would think, will look to kick. They decide to run to the left. Dykes with a step off the left. Stands up Rigon. Now gets the kick away. And wheelhouse it is, going back for it. The chase, leading that chase again is Matt Rogers. And again he comes up with a tackle first up. Eastern Suburbs, they know this territory pretty well inside their own 20. Can't remember a clean break from Eastern Suburbs throughout the matches yet either. A couple of times they've been able to stand in tackles. This is Adam Starr. Push back in that tackle, back to the 20. Over the top was Krillowitz. Mears across to Allen. Short pass there, finding his man. That was Jules Parry tackled. Making a whole lot of ground. Mears trying to steal a few metres out of dummy half. Back to Parry. Almost a shepherd around his man. He stumbles. Things just not clicking for this Eastern Suburbs side as Allen almost caught in possession. Back to Kelly, I think it was, minding his own business. In fact, Wheelhouse, the fullback, got the kick away. And straight to David Peachey. He takes on the man but met in the tackle. 10 shy of the halfway mark, so Cronulla back with it now.
Great enthusiasm shown by the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. A kick, Eastern Suburbs on at least 2 occasions haven't got the right person to kick the football. So plenty of pressure from this Cronulla side. That's what I was saying earlier. They do the little things very well.
I think that Eastern Suburbs probably need to look at running the football on the last tackle. Also, Richie Allen was under pressure there, but there wasn't a lot of Cronulla defence out wide. All the Roosters chasers had left pretty early. As Cronulla now keep the ball alive. Good tackle on the inside there from Starr. This is the last now. The ball back to clinch.
That kick again, bringing Grant Wheelhouse into play. The kick was a deep one, and Wheelhouse able to take it and beat 2. This is Grant Wheelhouse from inside his own 20. The crowd has probably doubled since we kicked off at 10:30, but doesn't appear to be a whole lot of atmosphere for the players. The crowd fairly quiet with the action of what they're seeing. And Eastern Suburbs trying desperately to work their way back into the match. And now a penalty up on halfway to the Eastern Suburbs side.
And this is a brighter passage of play for the Roosters as Jason Stanton leaves the field. Curry on in 40. They decide not to kick for touch. They're getting a little bit of momentum here, although it's a slow play. The ball almost should have been a penalty to them. See if they can put some points on here to get themselves back in this game.
Millard tackled by Graham. There's Mears again. Flat pass to Allen. Flat pass again, 2 on the outside to Napoli, and he'll be taken into touch. Well, that's too easy. Frank Napoli taken over the sideline. That was the way he was headed the moment he took the pass.
Well, Matthew Daylight, what a defence! What defence from him! He just drove him straight into touch. I couldn't believe that Eastern Suburbs got the penalty and didn't take the kick for touch. Would have put them in a better field position right up on Cronulla's line.
And Adam Ritson now, I think it is, getting a rest for Cronulla. And on the field comes Wade Forrester. So Adam Ritson has done his job. 45 minutes play he's had.
Were you that big as a youngster, Lock?
I don't really know, Pete.
I was just wondering what Adam has to look forward to, that's all.
I think they'll save him for reserve grade. That's probably why he's coming off. He's done his job, as Andrew said, 18 points to 0. I'm sure he'll have an impact in the reserve grade match this afternoon.
The Eastern Suburbs backline inside the required distance there. So Rogers comes across, finds touch, 38 metres out from his own line. 18 points to 0 with just under 24 minutes to go in this President's Cup Grand Final.
We let Adam Ritson know he's on the commentary team in the year 2010 or 15 or something.
Can you imagine both in there together? Wouldn't be room for you or me, Andrew.
That's what we're planning.
It's Cronulla now just inside the Eastern Suburbs half. Almost a breakdown there as Taper caught in possession. Back it comes to Sean Ryan. He sights the opening. Sean Ryan straight through. Oh, high tackle over the top. Wheelhouse.
Didn't look on the inside. They'd have scored there.
He was falling in the tackle, but he had an unmarked David Peachy to his right-hand side. Should have been a try there. I don't think the cover defence would have had the pace to gather up the full-back, but good work here, straight up the centre of the ruck. Let's have a look at the tackle. Yeah, he's slipping into that. In fact, there wasn't a tackle made at all, but he had support players either side. Peachy was the man to go to.
2 Eastern Suburbs players just receiving some attention in back play, not helping their cause as they try to get it up to halfway. They're 10 inside their own half. As Mears across the line to Allen, looking for a man to pass it to. He finds one and almost through the gap. That's not a play the ball. Has to be a penalty against the man. I think Frank Napoli, the player. In fact, it's the 40. He never got to his feet for Eastern Suburbs. A very poor play the ball by Paul Curry it is. Have a look at it. He was held in the tackle, but geez, you hang on to the ball, don't you?
Playing tunnel ball there, wasn't he?
A great start for that replacement, Paul Curry. It puts Cronulla on the attack, 30 out from the Roosters' line. As O'Donnell it is, who charges forward, bumps out of the tackle of one, Riggin that was, who landed on his backside. As they come forward now through Krillowitz. They're 15 out from the Roosters' line. They go, well, interesting play there, straight through the legs, then to Rogers. He can do that at 18-0. Rogers plays it forward. Mears, I thought, may have been offside. Leslie says play on. Peachy again a dummy half through clinch. Across the line to Dykes. The cutout ball finds Reiter. He comes back in field, steps past 2, past a third and gets over the line. Jason Reiter. Graham Annesley awards the try.
Can't score there.
Big right foot step, Jason Reiter. And the Sharks up by 22 points to 0.
Well, again, a soft try there to take it to 22 because there was enough Eastern Suburbs defence there to stop that try. The mousetrap play. Always nice to see. Matthew Rogers played the football forward and then Cronulla have gone wide, which they've had so much success against their opponents in their own danger territory. Look at the Eastern Suburbs defence. Even when the outside defence was beaten, there was still defence coming across. Good work from Jason Ryder. He ends up taking 4 Eastern Suburbs players over, but that's a try that should have been stopped by the defence.
Yeah, the long ball once again. Gavin Clinch involved again. Got a beautiful passing game. Jason Ryder should have no right to score that try. He pushed off about 1,800 of them.
Well, he's beaten 3 on the way to the line and taken 4 across with him. And he's not a big setter, Jason Ryder. He's done well in this match.
The one thing he had on to his favour there was the fact that the momentum for the Eastern Suburbs defenders was going across as he's coming back inside. A couple of players had a little bit of trouble keeping their footing.
Well, I'll back him to get this one. Matt Rogers, again, another goal, 4 from 4 for Matthew Rogers. Cronulla 24, leading Eastern Suburbs 0. In 2 grand finals today. Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. They look like they've got the President's Cup won, even though we're 19 and a half minutes out from full time.
Big statement, Andrew. It's
There.
24 zip.
24 what?
Zip.
Zip. Yeah, that's what you said. As up they come, the Sharks. Yeah, I'll back them to win.
I just think for Eastern Suburbs again it shows how difficult it is to win any competition in the Winfield Cup, whether it's first reserves or the 21s, from outside the top 3. They finished 4th. They've done well to get through to the grand final, but there's been a lot of tough football for them in the last couple of weeks against Illawarra, Newcastle and Canterbury. And all of a sudden Cronulla, who look very, very fresh and enthusiastic, are going to stop that run.
Well, they've been the outstanding side of the President's Cup. Cronulla, we know that they won the competition by 10 points, and deservedly so, that they should be winning this grand final and win the grand final.
And another point too about Cronulla, best for and against of any side in President's Cup this year. Most points scored, least conceded. The sort of stat a coach loves. As Eastern Suburbs, 10 inside their own half. Now they get something going, the Roosters. Forward comes Wheelhouse. He ricocheted out of one tackle. Back to Robert Mears, the hooker.
And that was Millard once again. I feel a bit sorry for Shane Millard today. Tried very, very hard for the Eastern Suburbs side. Offloaded the football on a number of occasions to lock forward. And I feel a bit sorry for him this afternoon.
Well, that's better from the Roosters there, stringing together some passes. Kick at the end, finding touch. I think Allen would have liked to have kept the ball in the in-goal area. But this has probably been the most promising attacking raid. Good ball back inside there to Wheelhouse, getting involved from fullback. He gets a pretty fair ball away around the corner of a Cronulla player also. And that's Mears, the hooker, getting involved. And on the last tackle, they found touch. Now they need a mistake from the opposition.
Gary on the sideline, another change.
Yeah, not good for Eastern Suburbs. Grant Wheelhouse, the player who's made, I think there are only 2 clean breaks this half, has limped from the field. He's got a crook knee from an injury happened about 10 or 15 minutes ago. His place has been taken by Robert Laszlo.
So Laszlo, the man on 42, slotting into fullback. But it is Cronulla in possession. 20 inside their own half and still plenty of willing runners to take it up. This is Krillowitz tackled. 10 metres short of halfway as it comes across. O'Donnell, bit of a step as he got to the line too. Good play from the front rower, Damien O'Donnell. That's the last tackle for Cronulla. Clinch has called the shots all day. This kick again, he was able to evade 2 defenders. And this is the replacement player. With his first touch of the ball, Laszlo. He tackled 20 metres out from his own line. Too many numbers back for that first hit up. Tackled was Patrick Byrne. Guess they feel the cause is lost as Jamie Johnson takes it forward. Tackled around the legs there by Luke Taper. And of course reserve grade coming up. We've mentioned the Sharks backing up in reserve grade, taking on the Newcastle Knights. Newcastle as minor premiers, but didn't win their way straight through to the grand final as Riggin is away down the right flank for Eastern Suburbs. Back in field he comes. So the Roosters just starting to put a few passes together. Nice to see if they can get a try on the board. The pass away to Richie Allen straight up the middle. A loose pass. It'll be play on for Eastern Suburbs. Riders back there in cover for Cronulla.
And Richie Allen trying to throw the impossible ball there. He would have been better off going to the ground with a quick play the ball. Here we see Peachy running out the ball off his own line. What a fend he's got, this fella.
So elusive. He runs a little bit like Brett Mullins, doesn't he? The Canberra fullback. Just the swerve beats a couple. And the fend.
Too much class for this great Peter. David Peachy. Be an outstanding buy for Cronulla. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in first grade next year.
Hands away, Ants. Let him play it. Hands off, marker.
Taper it is playing it as they come forward again. O'Donnell tackled 5 metres short of halfway.
I don't think it's a bad thing for Peachy to play a season in the lower grades as well, Block. He'll go into next season very, very confident after what he's achieved during the 94 season. He carried a couple of injuries early on, so confidence is a big thing. That's got to be a penalty.
Clinch was the man with a chip over the top. Adam Dykes following through, and the penalty goes the way of Cronulla. Gavin Clinch still down in back play. I think he's feigning any injury.
Yeah, I don't think he's hurt at all, but Also, don't think there was any doubt that the Eastern Suburbs player moved to get into his way so that he couldn't chase the kick. A little chip over the top. There was some space behind the front line. And there you can see number 38 for Eastern Suburbs.
Captain on captain, Chris Kelly.
Bit of Academy Award there. They'll get the 2 points there right in front. Take it to 26 blot.
And another change. Hamish Smith goes onto the field. What that penalty has done is give Cronulla a chance to add another 2 points to that scoreline of 24-0. And that's Sean Ryan coming from the field. Quite a story about this Sean Ryan. It was in 1992. He in fact broke into first grade. Between then and now, he's had a shoulder reconstruction, so it's been a bit of a comeback year for Sean Ryan. A player I'm sure you're going to see in first grade in 1995. And this is Matt Rogers with one of his easier kicks for the day. 22 metres out. Still takes plenty of time with a kick. This for another 2 from Matt Rogers, and it is. So Cronulla headed for victory in the President's Cup Grand Final. They lead Eastern Suburbs by 20. Football Stadium, that scoreline gets better for the Cronulla Sharks fans. It's under 21 side leading by 26 points to 0. Still plenty happening for the Cronulla side as Forrester's tackled 15 inside his own half. And this time it's O'Donnell. Again, he tried to put almost a left foot step as he got to the line, tackled by Kelly, the captain for Eastern Suburbs. As Taper kicks out of dummy half. Again, Cronulla have found space from their kick, forcing the Eastern Suburbs players across, as fielding it there as Laszlo, the replacement. Well, to get away from 2. Tackled and wrapped up there by Forrester. 25 out from the Roosters line. As forward this time goes the winger Patrick Byrne. Good 10 metres made. As this time again, it's Kelly, the captain, almost up to halfway. Cross now to Hamish Smith. Good pass to Millard, a player who can offload. Tackle. 42 metres out from the Cronulla line. They're still trying the Eastern Suburbs side. They work it right now across to Adam Starr. Almost got the pass. He's lost it again as he tried to turn the pass inside. Hamish Smith picks it up, but a knock on against the Roosters. Hasn't been a happy match for the hooker, or rather for the front rower, Adam Starr. As here it is again. He was looking to throw that inside ball. Well, it was knocked down by a Cronulla player, but knocked back and then back to Adam Starr, then forward. I think Graham Annesley came up with the right decision. And in fact, that's the way Real Cronulla made the first knock on. So Eastern Suburbs with the ball. And it's 25 metres out from the Sharks line.
Yeah, let's see if they can get on the board. Adam Starr have to get a bit involved here. He's coming around the blind side now. I'm sure that he'll put something on.
Robert Mears at dummy half. If they get close enough, he'll look for a try straight out of the dummy half position. But Starr, he'll play at 5 out from the line. Here he goes, Robert Mears, straight for the line, gets the try. Straight out of the game plan for Robert Mears.
Yeah, well, it was a quick play the ball from Adam Starr that set the try up. They thought they were going to go wide, Eastern Suburbs. Good run from dummy half. I think that's about his 18th or 19th try for the season. Mears, but very good runner from dummy half. Gus Gould will be watching them sort of things. I don't think it'll be long before he's in first grade, although he has had a little bit of experience. Ducks under, good low centre gravity, and try.
Yeah, well deserved that try. And again, it was the Cronulla marker shooting out in Adam Dykes, the number 32, that allowed Robert Mears to score Eastern Suburbs' first points. Steve Roach pointed out earlier that the Cronulla markers do shoot out quickly. On that occasion, on their own line, it's cost them 4, maybe 6 points. And with only 10 minutes to go, I think it's just a minor hiccup.
And Richie Allen gets his first shot at goal. From 15 out, drives it towards the posts and adds the extra 2 points. And Cronulla lead the Roosters by 26 points to 6. Or at least on the scoreboard for the first time. And inside the final 10 minutes now, but at least they take something away from Grand Final day. Adam Starr tackled just short of halfway.
Well, they have looked a little bit flat today, Eastern Suburbs, as Peter pointed out earlier. Very hard to come from the 4th or 5th position, but it's been an outstanding season for them. But for mine, Cronulla, outstanding all season. They haven't had any hiccups. They've only lost 1 game all season, and they deserve to be in front in this grand final and to win it.
They got the passes going that time, but the last one was a shocker.
Well, Eastern Suburbs started off the second half like they were going to throw the football around, but they've gone back into that mode. We see him try to move the football here, but just a little bit lack of depth there from the number 28, Patrick Byrne.
Cronulla spread out from this scrum, twisting around, clinch with it. Now taking it forward is Daylight, tackle 10 inside his own half. Eastern Suburbs have broken well from the scrum. Across it comes to Nick Graham. Almost standing in the tackle. Good defence from Chris Kelly. They need more of that. Well, they needed it a lot earlier. And now another one of the replacement players is tackled for Cronulla. That's Brett Gannon. Jumper number 54. Across the clinch, the step, inside ball intercept for Robert Mears. Well read.
That's where the space is, as I've been saying all day. Marcus sprinting out from both teams. The inside pass, the idea was right, but Mears read it very well for the Eastern Suburbs side.
Tackle there on Stars. Here it was, clinch. Inside pass, and Mears did very well. He was in position to take two of the Cronulla players. Came up with the ball once more, but now they've come up with an intercept of their own, and Cronulla back in possession.
I don't think Cronulla have finished scoring yet. There's still 7 minutes left on the clock. Still playing exactly the same footy. I do believe that they will spread the football here, probably on the third or fourth tackle. I noticed Peachy up there. That's a good sign of a real good fullback. He comes into the back line. He also supports his forwards. So he's had an outstanding game for the Cronulla side.
His tackle that time is Krillowitz. They're 30 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. They run it to the left as Clinch. Oh, that's a shocking pass along the ground. Maybe we've spoken too soon. It may have been a set move as Rogers gets away from two. Still going, 15 out from the line, then unloads the pass. Cronulla are going to come up with another try to the 54. In fact, into touch. Brent Gannon with a charge for the line. He's put 1 foot over the sideline. Matt Rogers, it was a shocking ball from Gavin Clinch, but Matt Rogers got it going.
There's nothing to do. Look at this Rogers. What tremendous ability he has to stand in tackle. That's been the thing for Cronulla today, to be able to stand. Does he put his foot in, touch it? That's a try, I reckon. I might be wrong.
Yeah, it was one or the other. As Eastern Suburbs with the ball, 10 out from the line. We'll let that one slide by. Brings a touch judge into play. They haven't had much to do.
Yeah, well, the good thing is it doesn't have any bearing on the game.
It's Millard it is who'll play it. In fact, he'll play it forward. One man's offside. He stays out of the play. That was Nick Graham. And Millard, he's probably been Eastern Suburbs' best.
He's been outstanding for Eastern Suburbs. A few of his mates should have got in and done the same work that he did. The scoreline wouldn't be what it is now.
Standing very flat down the blind side was the halfback Allen.
Well, I can't believe how long it takes Allen to pass the football. He catches the ball, he looks at the label on the football and then throws it. You've got to either run with the footy or catch and pass. It's just too long. It allows the Cronulla defence, they play that up and in defence, just allows them that time to get straight up into the attacking player.
So Cronulla go forward again. As across it comes to Dykes. Collision with Rogers. Almost to his advantage. Got the push along he needed almost through the tackle. Rogers in a dummy half.
You're not telling me that was a set play, are you?
Possibly.
What, the pinball? What do they call it, pinball?
Yeah, that's out of Chook Raper, not Stuart Raper's book. That was one of Chook's moves. As Cronulla 25 metres out from the east line. As Treister threw the pass across the clinch. He goes for a run himself. The pass away to the lock forward. Graham tackled 5 metres out from the line. Cronulla in search of another try. Across to Forrester. 5 out again, but no support, as he had one arm free to throw the pass. Peachy in a dummy half. He's done that a few times in the match. The grubber kick from Peachy ricochets into a man offside. Unfortunately for the Roosters, Chris Kelly dived on the ball. He had to dive on it.
Well, he had to dive on the football there, Chris Kelly. Unfortunately in the offside position. Peachy, good play from him. Tried to grab the ball through and regain. See the referee there talking to a couple of the Eastern Suburbs players. But what do you do here? You'd have to take the tap or the shot at goal. I'd probably take the tap. Try and get another try.
Kick for touch. There's 3 choices.
Yeah, well, here they're taking the tap. Oh, no, they're kicking for touch. But it's good to see Cronulla trying to get more points on the board. Still 4 minutes left on the clock. With the easy way out to take the shot at goal.
What was that kick for touch about? From 5 out, they take the tap from 5 out. It comes back now to Brad Williams, tackle. And he's 5 out. As Treister goes to dummy half. Across the clinch. They've got numbers here on the left. Dykes to Peachy trying to straighten up the attack. Back to Dykes. It's still 4-on-2 out wide. Cronulla forward. Graham with a loose pass to Dykes. It goes, and it is Nick Graham who comes up with a try. And Cronulla, that is try number 5 for the match. They top 30 points. ET loves it. And the Sharks lead by 30 points to 6.
Well, there was plenty of mistakes there in that long passing game. Just the Eastern Suburbs defence not moving up as quick as it should out wide. There was a couple of ordinary passes here. Touched by Peachy, the quick hands from Peachy. But that's a great try to Cronulla. Deserved winners, we've already said. There's the 6 again. And an easy try there for Cronulla in the corner from Nick Graham.
Again, it's Matt Rogers here who stands in the tackle. It's his pass that's knocked down. This is Matt Rogers looking to pass all the time. And Nick Graham, we've mentioned a few times, pretty big lock forward, hard to stop.
Played very well too, Nick Graham. Very good defensive player. Plays on the fringe of the ruck, and good to see him get the try. Aren't they happy about it? Why wouldn't they be? An easy win for Cronulla this afternoon in this grand final.
This Nick Graham, 4 tries as we see for 94. Had his first grade debut under Arthur Beetson last year at 5'8". And speaking to the Cronulla camp during the week, he won't be playing 5'8 again during his career. He's a lock to stay now. Possibly even in at second row too, Nick Graham.
Gee, he looks young, doesn't he? Matthew Rogers. What a sensational find he is for Cronulla. I believe he's got a brother playing in the lower grades too.
And Rogers, this one he drives toward the post, but just wide, spoils the perfect record.
He looks a bit dirty on himself too as he runs back.
Bit of a smile. 5 from 6. Cronulla leading Eastern Suburbs by 30 points to 6. As we look at that try again, Peachy straightened up the attack. Then to Dykes. Now it's Rogers standing in the tackle. There were plenty of Eastern Suburbs numbers there, but Cronulla were able to keep the ball going. And Nick Graham coming up with a try.
Eastern Suburbs try the short kick-off to no avail. Easily taken there. I think Cronulla will just play down the clock. About a minute 40 left on the clock. They'll get into the set of 6 and try and kick down deep.
So 5 tries to 1. It's a comprehensive win for the Cronulla Sharks. We've mentioned they won the minor premiership, losing only 1 game, and that was back in April to Manly at Caltex Field as Peachy goes through. Trying to get away from 2. He gets away from a third, gets away now from Hamish Smith. Stands in the tackle back to Forrester. Cronulla. Ad-lib football now for the Sharks. 25 out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Treaster. Across it comes to Clinch. Almost slipped the pass there too. That's the last tackle for Cronulla. They may elect to run. Dykes with a kick now. It's coming across field from Adam Dykes. Eastern Suburbs are there trying to take it. It was Kelly, the captain. And in fact, Millard, the lock forward, came down with the ball. So the Roosters side with their last use of the ball, one would think, for the President's Cup Grand Final. As Hamish Smith goes forward. This Cronulla side, they won the major semi-final 2 weeks ago against Canterbury, 32-0. I don't think you could ask too much more of a side than what they've done this year in President's Cup. You can see the countdown. As I mentioned earlier, the crowd's been pretty quiet all throughout now. As Eastern Suburbs, maybe they're going to come up with the last try. Away they go down the left side and pushed into touch Napoli. Still on for the Roosters, 25 out from the Cronulla line. The ball came loose. Mears in a dummy half. Adam Starr wants to hit up. Now it's Adam Starr with it. Back to Robert Mears, their lone try scorer. Forward goes Frank Napoli, tackled. He's lost the ball. Cronulla back with it and over the sideline. But it is full time. A happy Stuart Raper, the coach of the Cronulla Sharks. His first year as a great coach. Cronulla has defeated Eastern Suburbs by 30 points to 6. Some happy young Sharks out of here on the ground at the Sydney Football Stadium. Well, they should be. Minor premiers, now premiers for 1994. And just on the history of the Cronulla Sharks, I think they only have one third-grade title to their credit, and that was back in 1975. So a milestone for the Cronulla club.
Things are looking up for the Cronulla side. Some outstanding prospects from there.
And down at the centre of it all is Gary Belcher with a winning team, the Cronulla Sharks.
Yes, I've got fullback David Peachy here with me. David, obviously, Coach Stuart Raper has come up with a very good game plan on the day.
Yeah, he practically said stick to the game, same game. We've been playing 22, 24 games. It's just been tough. Like, we knew East were going to be a hard outfit. We just stuck to our game plan and we come up with a point.
Now, I'm sure you want to celebrate with your teammates, but you'll have to wait a little while, won't you, because you've got the second grade game coming up.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'd like to celebrate, but I've been backing up like practically all three grades all year. It's been great. I mean, I'd love to sit on the bench for Dykesy and celebrate. I'll do all that tonight.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Congratulations and good luck in the next game.
Thanks, mate.
And we saw the shots there of Stuart Raper right in the middle of it all. Just a young man, just 29 years of age, enjoying the success of great coaching.
Yeah, tremendous to see Stuart Raper. Very good tactically. He didn't come in and try and hamper his football team. He's got a lot of players there with a lot of ability. Just allow them to use it. But good on him, Stuart. It's his first year in the under-21s and good to see.
It's a long road from Eden. That's where he was for the last 2 seasons as captain coach. And a few of the men behind the scenes of Cronulla. Paul Watson, their strength and fitness coach, apparently has done a tremendous job, particularly with the younger players in the club. Greg Pearce, the coaching coordinator of the Cronulla Sharks, another man who's
Someone
put in plenty of work.
Help him get the cork out. He only opened a bottle of champers.
He's gone off. Dean Treaster it is. Happy scenes, the first grand final out of the way. Cronulla defeating Eastern Suburbs by 30 points to 6. Can they do it in reserve grade? We'll be back shortly with more from the Sydney Football Stadium. This is Grand Final Day 1994 on the wide world of sports.
Stadium Grand Final Day for 1994. We've just seen the President's Cup Grand Final between East and Cronulla Sutherland, won by the Sharks 30-6. With the presentation, here is Peter Sterling.
Ladies and gentlemen, if there's been an outstanding team in this year's Winfield Cup in any grade, it's undoubtedly the Cronulla Sutherland President's Cup team. They've only lost one game all year, and today again they've proven their superiority over a gallant Eastern Suburbs who did very well to make the grand final after finishing in 4th spot. A round of applause for the Cronulla Sharks. Now it gives me great pleasure to call to the microphone the Executive Chairman of the Australian Rugby League, Mr. Ken Arthurson.
Thank you, Peter. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed what I believe was a great President's Cup Grand Final between two teams who no doubt will have players that are certainly going to be in our first grade ranks in the years to come. We sympathise with Eastern Suburbs because although they were beaten, they showed great courage, great spirit and great ability to get through as far as they did to the grand final. To the winners, Cronulla, there's absolutely no question whatsoever that they were by far the outstanding team in President's Cup this year. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've seen a better President's Cup side than this Cronulla team. Ladies and gentlemen, to make the presentation to the captain of the winning team, could I introduce the State Manager of Rothmans, Mr. Colin Rochester.
Mr. Rochester will make that presentation to the captain of the victorious Cronulla Sharks President's Cup side, Gavin Clinch.
Firstly, I'd like to congratulate East on making it here today. They did it hard from 5th position, but really put up a great effort. To all our supporters, family, friends, thank you for all the support throughout the year. Reebok and Akai, our sponsors, and to all the players. They're not just a great team to play with, but also we have a few drinks together. I'm sure we're going to have a few tonight. To our coach, Stuart Raper, he's put in a lot of work. Our manager, Al, trainer, Watto. And this win was also special for us today for a bloke we lost a while back, Ben Lysart, and we dedicate this win to him. Thank you.
A great performance from the Cronulla Sharks, 30 points to 6 winners. And could you please keep your applause going as we now invite the entire Cronulla Sutherland President's Cup team up to the podium to receive their winners' medals.
Yes, indeed, a very good effort there by the young Sharks to take out this grand final. Outstanding here today. It's probably a shame that the game wasn't a little bit closer, but the class was obviously evident. And with me right now, I've got Paul Vaughton and Paul Harrigan. What do you think of the grand final, Fatty? Wasn't what we wanted, was it?
No, they smashed them, as a matter of fact, Cronulla, but they're a great football side, a lot of talent there. They've got 4 or 5 players who have played a bit of regular first grade this year. That's why they were so dominant in the game today. You can see David Peachey, Adam Ritson, they're stars of the future, and it's showing Stuart Raper. What a great job he did with them. His first year in a grade coaching position, son of former legend, still legend, Chuck Raper. And so congratulations goes to Stuart as well. So pretty happy boys there, the mighty Cronulla Sharkies.
Paul Harrigan, young Adam Ritson, won't be long before you'll be fronting up to him on a regular basis. He's a big lad and he's got a bit of growing to go.
He is a big lad, and already I've fronted up against him. We played Cronulla there and he played very, very well. Don't say it, Fatty.
What, the elbow? What about the elbow?
No, it wasn't the elbow, but I tell you what, he ran out the top of me not too long after that and scored a try. But Eastern Suburbs, you know, they were a little bit disappointing today, but they did come from 5th position and they tried their hardest.
That just goes to show, Kenny, that in any competition it's very hard to maintain that sort of pressure, and it just gets to you in the end. And today they were very flat east, and some of their star players never performed, and the Cronulla Sharks took advantage of that, and they were never going to get beaten from the time they ran out.
The depth there, Fatty, it's very, very impressive for the Sharks when you see that they're in the next grand final. And you were saying just before we came on air that a lot of credit goes to Arthur Beetson for fostering these kids.
Yes, Ken, Beetso was there for a couple of years. I know he got punted last year and John Lang took over. But Beetso, he brought a lot of these young kids through, and especially in the juniors, the flag and the ball. He took a lot of interest in them, and that is coming to fruition now with this under-21 competition win. And John Lang, of course, this year dedicated a lot of time to these kids as well, so he deserves a rap along with their coach Stuart Raper.
What does Cronulla do with all these talented kids and all of them want to play first grade? I guess they all start looking around for big contracts, and with 20 teams in the competition next year, there's going to be a few kids in demand.
Exactly, retention is going to be a big thing for them, and like you say, particularly a couple of these under-21s, they'll back up for reserve grade and have a big input in that game as well. They're a very, very good side, and retention is going to be a big job because other sides are going to be wanting them.
I thought we had Matt Halligan out there for a minute. The way that Rogers boy kicked, he was magnificent. Kicked 4 from 5 or 5 from 6, just missed the 1, and what a great kicker he is. Left foot, there he is there, the number 29.
Yes, it's amazing to see this new generation of footballers coming through. A lot of them with famous dads like this young Rogers, and like his dad, plays in the centre, and his dad was reasonably good with the boot too.
Yeah, he went okay, Steve. He's one of the best centres of all time, as a matter of fact. And there is a lot of pressure on I would imagine, on a son of a former champion player. But he's handled it well. He's had a great game today. And there's the old bloke there on the left. Who's he? Nice hat. What about that for a tit for tat?
I think he won the bet. We will be back.
He's won the bet, all right.
We will be back at the football stadium right after this. Good on you, Stuart Raper.
He puts on his exhibition to Lyons. Lyons drops. Now he's through the game, and this is a try. Left Lyons is in. And here's an intercept that could be Lyons. Out to Lyons, kicks into the corner. Lyons marks it. Lyons goes for a drop goal. Keeps it low. And the hand is in the air from McCallum. Lyons, he's through. Lyons went in high. Lyons the kick and the pursuit and the regather.
Lyons gets a
Lyons for 2B. Danny Moore offloads. Hancock inside. Lyons and Cliffy. He gets it down. Lyons scores for Manly.
Cliffy Lyons, the Dally M Player of the Year among some of the great tries for 1994, and it has been a